Hi guys, it's Mr. Walker here, and thank you for joining me for another math lesson today. Today we're going to be talking about subtracting fractions again, but this time we're going to be looking at subtracting fractions that are between like 1 and 2. Okay, so we're going to have a whole number and a fraction in the problems that we're solving. So we're going to continue on with some of the strategies that we've been using as far as adding and subtracting fractions, drawing that area model, that kind of diagram to make some equal units and things like that, and then subtracting through. But it's going to look a little bit different because I'm going to be taking this a little bit of a step further to kind of continue the work we're doing and just kind of step up our game a little bit. So all you're really going to need for today is something to write on, something to write with, and once you have those things, go ahead and click continue and we'll get started. Alright guys, so as you can see, I have my first problem already written up here. And in this one, we're going to be subtracting 1/2 from 1 1/3. So I have a more than a whole here, and then I have less than a whole over here. So I'm going to be subtracting one from the other. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to draw this out. And I'm going to start with my 1 1/3 first. Okay, I'm going to represent that using my area model, using like those rectangles and stuff like that. So let me draw a rectangle here. And just for the sake of keeping things the same, I'm just going to copy and paste that, an identical rectangle over here. So now the next step is I'm dealing with thirds, right? That's my base unit here. Thirds, even though I have 1 1/3. So I'm going to divide these up into thirds. All right, there's thirds there, thirds here. And I'm not worried about representing this 1/2 yet. I'm going to show you why in a second. So I have 1 1/3. So that means I have to color in some of my thirds here. So that 1/2, that's the same as 3/3, right? 1, 2, 3. I'll just color it in 1/2, and then I also have one other third right here. So I'm going to color in 1/3 right here. So far I've represented my 1 and my 1/3, okay? And I haven't represented this 1/2 yet, and that's okay, because if I was going to do that 1/2, what we've done in the past is we've drawn another rectangle over here, and we've like divided it horizontally because we did these ones vertically, and then I kind of drug it over to show the shape, right? I'm not going to do that today. Today we're going to kind of move on from that, especially when we're dealing with subtraction. What we're going to do instead is I'm just going to draw my other units right over top of what I already have. So that means is I'm going to split all of these guys in half. So I'm going to draw a line across here. I'm going to draw a line across here, and there we go. So now my units, instead of being thirds, I'm going to have sixths, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? These are divided now into sixths. So if I count up my sixths now, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 sixths, okay? 8 sixths. And I'm going to be subtracting 1/2 from that. But how many sixths are there in 1/2? Well, if we look at this again, right, cross this in half, let's just take like this piece here, for example. This would represent 1/2. This would represent the other half, right? 1/2. So how many sixths are there in 1/2? There are 1, 2, 3. 3 sixths in 1/2. So one way I can write this is to say 8 sixths minus 3 sixths, because 3 sixths is the same as 1/2. So that means I'm going to have to get rid of 3 sixths. So I could do that by going 1, 2, 3, which leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 sixths. So that's just one way to do it, and we can kind of, just for the sake of things, we can kind of think of this as method 1. Right? And I'm going to show you like a different way that we could have done this. It's not really too much different. It just kind of shows a little bit difference in where you can subtract from. So now we're kind of back to square one again, right? So if I thought of this 1 1/3, right, I could kind of think of it as 6 sixths, 6 sixths plus 2 sixths, which I have over here, 2 of the 6, right? But really, out of that 6 sixths, I'm going to go ahead and cross out 1/2. There's 1/2 right here, which is the same as taking away 3 sixths. So I'm going to be left with 3 sixths, 3 sixths over here, plus my 2 sixths over here, which is equal to 5 sixths which is the same answer I got up here. So if this is method 1 of just counting up all the 6 and then subtracting 3 off the end, method 2, it's kind of semantical, but it's a little bit different as far as I subtracted like 1/2 at a time, which was the same as 3/6, and then I counted up my remainders, 1, 2, 3, plus 2 over here, and then I got the 5, 6 still. So either way will work, just a little bit different in the way you want to actually subtract the number. All right? Probably a little bit shaky still, that's okay. Let's take a look at another example real quick. All right, so again, I have 1 1/5 minus 1/3. So again, I have more than a whole and then less than a whole, and I'm subtracting one from the other. So I'm going to start by drawing out my rectangles to kind of represent my 1 1/5. I'm not going to worry about the 1/3 so much because I'm going to be taking that away, and I'm going to stop drawing so many rectangles and just kind of represent them all in one shape. Okay, so here's my second rectangle here. I'm dealing with fifths, right? That's my unit. So I'm going to go ahead and split these into fifths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now these are fifths, right? To get 1 1/5, I'm going to have to color in one whole. So that's going to be 5 fifths, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my one whole. And then I need one more fifth over here. Perfect. So now I have 1 and like 1/5 right here. 1/5. Cool. And then my second fraction here that I'm subtracting is thirds. So I'm going to split my 1 1/5 into thirds. Let me go ahead and do 1, 2, 3. So that's thirds. 1, 2, 3. That's thirds as well. So let's take a look at what this model is actually showing us. So a couple different ways I can look at this, right? Start with kind of method 1 over here. The first thing I could do is just count up my unit now. So now my unit is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? Each rectangle is divided into 15 pieces. So that's going to be my new unit. So something minus something 15ths minus something 15ths. So let's think about my 1 1/5. How many 15ths is that going to be? Well, if I counted up how many squares are colored in right now, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 15ths are colored in. Minus how many 15ths? Well, let's take a look at 1/3. Just to kind of highlight this. This is a third, right? Because we split these rectangles into thirds. So each one of these like longer strips here, that's a third. So how many purple squares are there in 1/3? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So in order to take away 1/3, I'd have to take away 5 15ths. Okay, so let me take away 5 15ths from 18 15ths. Let's do this. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And that would leave me with how many 15ths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 15ths. And there's your answer, okay? It's kind of the first method of just looking at how many parts you have, how many units you have, and then converting both fractions and then subtracting from there. If I want to look at another method, I could think of my 1 1/5. Let me just kind of write it down here. 1 1/5 as 15 15ths, right? Because that would be a whole. So 15 15ths and 3 15ths. And my 1/3 would be the same as 5 15ths. And that's what I'm subtracting. 5 15ths. So then I could kind of do it this way, and I can go, okay, 5 and 5, so this would be 10 15ths plus 3 15ths, which would equal 13 15ths, which is the same thing I got up here, okay? But you're subtracting in a different way, okay? So instead of going right to the 18, I'm just I'm laying them all out here so I can subtract differently if I want to make some different connections. Either way is fine. Personally, if I'm going through the trouble of drawing the model, I'm just going to cross out the 5 or however many 15ths or however many 20ths or whatever it is. I'm just going to cross them out and then move on from there. But if you'd like to represent it this way, totally cool as well. Let's do just one more example to make sure that we're really kind of getting this. All right, let's step up to some bigger numbers too to see if we can thoroughly confuse ourselves on this one. So I'm going to go with 1 4/9, and we're going to be subtracting 1/2. So again, I have more than a whole here. It's between 1 and 2, and I have less than a whole here, and I'm subtracting these two numbers. Our denominators are not the same, so we're going to have to find some common units to be able to subtract these numbers. So again, I'm going to draw myself a rectangle first. And I'm actually going to draw two rectangles because I want to represent that 1 4/9 first. All right, so I have my two rectangles here, and I'm going to divide them into ninths because that's what my unit is, ninths. All right, so I got 9 there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got those divided into ninths, and I've got the same thing for this guy here. So I have 1 4/9. So that means 1 whole, and I'm going to have 4/9 over here. So I'm going to go ahead and color this in. 1 whole, I'm going to have 9/9 will give me 1 whole, right? So let's color this in. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that takes care of my 1 whole, and then I have 4 more ninths. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Again, just to illustrate that, this would be 1 whole. This is 4/9. So I have my 1 4/9 represented, easy enough. Now I want to split those in half because this is my second unit. So to be able to compare and make some like units, I need to split them all, or them both in half. I'll split this guy here, this guy here. I know my lines aren't perfectly straight, but you get the idea. So now I have split my ninths in half, which gives me how many? 18, right? So 18 units altogether. So I know my 1 4/9 is going to be something out of 18, and my 1/2 is going to be something out of 18. So this is the first way I could do it to kind of represent it, represent my fractions and subtract that way. So I know I'm going to have 18 18ths here plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 18ths. So that would be a total of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 18ths minus how many 18ths? Well, let's see how many 18ths are in 1/2. This is a half. This is a half. This is a half, and this is a half. So how many 18ths are in 1/2? Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 18ths. 9 18ths in 1/2. So 26 18ths minus 9 18ths will give us 17 18ths. If I were to cross off 9 18ths, I would cross off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which would leave me with 17 18ths over here. All right, good enough. If I wanted to represent this, kind of another way I could think of this as 1 4/9, which is going to be the same as 18 18ths, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 18ths. Minus 9 18ths. 9 18ths, right? That was a half of the 18 out of 18. It's 9 18ths, so then I could subtract and see if I did 18 minus 9. Well, I knew that would give me 9. It would be 9 18ths plus 8 18ths, which would be 17 18ths. Okay, just another way to look at things. You could use whatever method makes more sense to you. So hopefully this is starting to make sense. Hopefully this is setting in a little bit for you guys. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out and let me know. Like I said, this is a little more complicated of a method, so it's going to take some practice to get down, but I really think it helps to illustrate what's going on when you have more than a whole and you're doing some subtraction. So please let me know if you need anything. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.